PrintXtreme, makers of quality vinyl decals. Many decals available on their eBay store. If you cannot find what you need, send them a message and I'm sure they will be happy to help you and even make your decal custom. Visit their eBay store to see for yourself. Link in the description below. Hello and welcome to this episode of Microchips, and a video that I've been wanting to do for a while on the Ham International Multimode II, but not one of them, but two of them. So here we have two Multimode 2s. I know they've got no face on them, but that's been work in progress for a little while. So anyway, let's get started. So most of the Multimode 2s these days look like this, with a battered front, or paintwork chipped on the edges, and generally looking tired. So we're going to do something with that later on in the video. But for this video, we're going to concentrate on the insides. So the first Multimode 2 should be pretty much untouched. See, C11 needs changing. It's got its original VCO in there. But apart from that, everything else looks good inside the radio, pretty much untouched. So that's where we like it. Over to the second Multimode 2. Now, I've actually been fiddling with this one since I got it. So it's got one of my test boards in it. And it's already had C11 changed, as we can see by the green capacitor there. So we don't need to do it on this one. And it's also got an FM audio VCO that I've been playing with. But again, a pretty much untouched radio. Now I did notice one thing. This resistor looks like it's been getting hot, and R38 hadn't been changed. And on the track side, everything looks good, no cut tracks, everything looks nice and original. So we're going to change this 100 ohm resistor anyway, just have a look, and we'll do the biasing resistor. So there's our two new resistors fitted. So the biasing mod 15 ohm and a replacement 100 ohm. And we'll just see whether this 100 ohm is still 100 ohms. And yeah, it is. It just looks like it's been getting a bit hot. So sideband dead key. And we need to do this to 0.7 of a volt. And there it is. So, very nice. So back to the first multimode and out with the tantalum C11. And there it is. And we're going to replace that with a nice new capacitor. And whilst we're at it, we'll take out the parts that are needed for the FM audio mod. So out with the capacitor, out with the coil. I've already covered this in previous videos. And out with the green VCO, as we're going to be fitting one of my FM audio mod VCOs into this anyway. I'm going to be trying something a little different as well with this, with a board that I've had made. So I was looking for a nice point to connect the positive supply to the VCO, and there's a nice point on the board there coming straight from the AVR, and there's actually a hole on the board which is next to point F, which we can put our positive supply to. Makes it nice and neat. It means I don't have to run the wire all the way up to the AVR transistor. So we'll just go across the bands that we've got, check for VCO voltage. Everything's looking good. So I've been messing about with this board. It's a circuit I found on the internet which was supposed to improve FM audio. There's supposed to be a gain and a deviation control. So I've got a cheap signal generator on trace 1, which is the upper one, and the trace below will be the output of this board. So I'm just seeing whether the actual board actually works, whether there's any distortion on the audio or any clipping on the audio, and everything seems to be working fine. The gain controls are working nicely on it. Looks like it's 180 degrees out, but that's to be expected. But apart from that, everything seems good. So we're going to try this board in these radios. See if it improves our FM audio. So there's the board wired in, so it's going in between my VCO and this point here. Normally there's a wire that runs all the way across to the deviation control, which is here, but we've taken that off and we've routed it through the main loom and joined it onto our small board into here, and then the small board goes out onto the VCO. Now we need a TX voltage for this as well, which I'll show you in a minute. So that the wire, the yellow and white wire that's going across the board there, that's the wire we remove, and then we put that across and feed it up the main loom, and there's our second multimode fitted with this board. So the TX voltage is this point here, so that is needed to switch the power to the small processor board in transmit. So we solder it onto that point there. Job's a good one. So seems to be working okay. One, two. 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2, 1, 2. Yeah, everything seems to be good. 1, 2, 1, 2. So we'll set more of that up later. But for now, that seems to be working good. So we're going to be fitting one of my XL boards into this, which is a PLL replacement. So that means out with a PLL chip, which is there. 12th week of 81 by the looks of it on that chip. And there's our XL board fitted in its place. So this will give 5 bands, alphas and 5 KC. So we've done that across both of them. Now this modification took a few weeks to do, but I've actually put a MOSFET modification in this one, or should we say a MOSFET replacement, as I was working on this at the time. So we've taken out the 69s and replaced this for MOSFETs, which again I've covered in another video, so I'm not going to cover that here. So we're going to do the T4 modification, which means isolating the centre pin and joining the outer pin. That should give us a little bit more range on the transmit. That's it done across both of them. Now I need to disable the 41-80 display. So seeing we're taking the actual band select out, we can pull all the wires and just connect the correct wafer down to negative, which we've done there. This radio has not had the 41-80 disabled, so it's just a case of removing the 2 wires and then connecting that down to negative. That will hardwire it to 1-40 display, Excellent. I'm connected to a negative point on the bottom there. The job's a good one. Anyway, join us for part 2 of this video, where we're going to carry on the band modification for this and finishing off with a nice new repaired front. So don't forget to like, subscribe, join the Facebook group. Hope you enjoyed the video, and we'll see you in the next one.